Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, September 14th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of ORAN News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The Democratic Party's loss in Dibra sparked debate in today's meeting of the DP's parliamentary group. Democratic MPs asked for a thorough analysis of the results. DP MP Edward Salami asked for the gathering of the National Council to discuss the Democratic Party's leadership. Sources within the meeting say that MP Salami declared that the Democratic Party is not the DP chairman's property. Mr. Salami is learned to have declared that 4 losses in a row cannot be explained with only vote buying and that a serious analysis is needed. The same sources say that Democratic MP Mylinda Bregu told the DP chairman not to escape from his responsibilities. She asked the DP chairman whether he is aware of the situation in DP city branches. It is also learned that the Democratic MP Bregu declared that she was aware of the gap that Berisha would leave. She has also declared that the Democratic Party cannot claim vote buying after every loss, as this, according to her, is fatalism. After the meeting, the Democratic Party chairman declared that elections in Dibra were the focus of the meeting and accused the Prime Minister of violating free elections. The alliance of politics with crime, especially of Eddie Rama with drug traffickers, denied Dibra the opportunity to have free and honest elections. They destroyed the political process, declared the Democratic Party chairman, who did not make any comment on the debates within the parliamentary group, adding that the group has a unified stance for removal of crime in connection with politics. Prime Minister Rama was in Dibra today to thank its citizens for voting for the majority's candidate. The Prime Minister also thanked all those who participated in the voting and promised Dibra's people that he will construct the Arbury Road before the 2017 elections. He said the road construction has been an old debt of Albania's government for more than 2 decades, and that it must be repaid to Dibra's citizens. The Democratic Party did not leave the Arbury Road ready. We only found an agreement in principle with a very high price, but we did not find any project or contract. I have held several meetings with the Chinese ambassador to talk about the road to reach a serious agreement that the Albanian state can afford. We are in conditions where the Albanian state cannot take on new debts. When we took office, we found a large debt. If we had not had 720 million in debts, we would have constructed the Arbury Road. I have met with the Chinese ambassador over this road more than with the U.S. ambassador about the judicial reform. I told her that we will construct the road, said Prime Minister Rama. The Prime Minister promised more dedication to Dibra and spoke against the opposition's accusing Dibra's people of being connected to crime. According to the Prime Minister, this is a serious offense to Dibra's citizens. I have never heard a big party thank their voters on one hand and then offend the others before. This is an offense to the people of Dibra, he added. Dibra's newly elected mayor, who is a doctor by profession, expressed his awareness of the large problems Dibra has, but he sounded optimistic and promised solutions with the support of the government. We will open new jobs. There are many problems, but we will solve them all with the support of the Prime Minister, Dibra's new mayor said. The Ad Hoc Commission of Judicial Reform gathered today to discuss the laws of the emergency package that is necessary for implementing the reforms. During today's meeting, the majority and the opposition agreed to continue working on the emergency package of laws in 2 phases. For the first time, political representatives of different parties were aligned with their statements after the meeting. Democratic MP Bulik Bashi had this to say. The Commission discussed the agenda for 6 laws today. We agreed to divide work for the laws into 2 phases. We agreed to review the main laws related to special structures against crime and organized crime and the special prosecution against corruption until September 22nd. We agreed to have healthy and not hasty discussions. The Socialist MP Maiko spoke about the spirit of cooperation. The most important thing is that we will conclude the legal package by next week. We have the opinion of the internationals. We are only waiting for the opposition's opinion, and we can conclude the package, said Socialist MP. Meanwhile, the Socialist Movement for Integration's rep at the Commission praised cooperation between the parties as good news, adding that cooperation brings better laws. We discussed improving everything that is needed, but also to walk through this process in cooperation with the opposition. Today's meeting was the most constructive one, and I hope the constructiveness continues. This will bring quality laws, the SMI's MP declared. The Ad Hoc Commission of Judicial Reform will gather again on Thursday to continue with the work for the emergency laws. The two majority parties, the Socialist Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration, have finally agreed on some changes to the law regarding additional security measures after disagreements have hampered adopting the law in Parliament. It seems as though the highly debated law will receive the Socialist Movement for Integration's votes this time. The Minister of Interior held a meeting today with the SMI MPs. Without providing any detail regarding the points they discussed, the minister declared that the law will increase prevention of criminality. We have worked well to create measures that prevent criminality. I am convinced that we will find consensus with the MPs to adopt the law in Thursday's plenary session, declared the Minister of Interior. The Vice Chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration also praised the consensus and declared that changes will make the law more solid and make it serve for additional safety. Assembly Speaker Ilir Mehta continues his official visit to the United Kingdom, where today in London he met with John Bercow, the President of the Chamber of Deputies of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. Both speakers of parliaments discussed the judicial reform, assessing consensual voting of the constitutional amendments, and Britain's support in the areas of justice, along with the fight against corruption and organized crime, which have contributed to improving the business climate in Albania. On the topic of bilateral cooperation, Mehta and Bercow shared the conviction that overall relations between the two countries should be strengthened in a concrete way, particularly in the areas of safety, tourism, and energy, both believing that interparliamentary relations are very important. Assembly Speaker Mehta emphasized that Albania is proud of its historic ties and particularly of the UK's well-integrated Albanian community, who provide a valuable contribution to the relations between our two countries. Mr. Mehta said the community should be seen as a solid basis for consolidating ties between Albania and Britain. Chairman Bercow stressed that both countries share common strategic interests in security and in the fight against organized crime and anti-terrorism as members of NATO. In the end, Mr. Mehta invited the President of the Chamber of Deputies of the British Parliament, John Bercow, for an official visit to Albania, an invitation that was accepted with pleasure. A conference against violent extremism was held in Durrës today. The Vice Prime Minister praised religious harmony in Albania and announced the government's pilot project to include religion as a school subject. We will start implementing a pilot project for religious coexistence. We will include religion in schools to prepare the youth to face extremist pressures. Albania is a country of religious coexistence. The government has adopted a strategy against extremism. Thank you to the US and the EU for helping to draft the strategy, declared the Vice Prime Minister. The US Ambassador Donald Liu praised Albania's work against the fight against terrorism, highlighting that no Albanian people have recently been recruited by ISIS. Violent extremists use sophisticated strategies. Western Balkan countries have made progress. ISIS is an ideology, a serious threat for Europe. Present in the conference, the EU ambassador, Rama declared that the regional center against extremism will be established in Tirana. Albania is committed against radicalism. Security challenges require cooperation. We have several joint initiatives like the establishment of a regional center against violent extremism in Tirana. I am proud that the EU is investing in nonprofit organizations that are committed in this field, Vlahutin said. To the OSCE Ambassador Robert Wilton, cooperation between the countries is the basis for safety and the fight against extremism. Cooperation is the best basis for security. Cooperation against extremism is a challenge. Solutions can be found only through common efforts. Albania is an active partner in the fight against radicalism, Wilton said. In the conference, Albania presented the National Strategy Against Violent Extremism, which was adopted in 2015 and aims to preserve values of tolerance, religious harmony, and to protect human rights. The Minister of Interior warned drivers to put on their seatbelts or face punitive measures against them and their passengers. The minister inspected some road points today where police officers were checking if the drivers were wearing their seatbelts. The minister declared that these checkpoints are part of the road police operation to prevent road accidents. Putting on your seatbelt saves your life. Albania has the highest number of road accidents in the Balkans and EU. Road police have started a seatbelt operation. This is the second phase of the operation, coming after the initial intensive campaign. The second phase is related to implementing the law, and there will be strengthened measures against drivers and passengers who do not put on their seatbelts, declared the Minister of Interior. Road police officers have started to fine drivers not wearing their seatbelts. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.